This is the Derby Middle School Advanced Band. We have 4 selections for you this evening. Our first one is entitled Choose Joy. It's from a greater collection of works by Randall Standridge, who's a very popular middle school and now becoming high school composer. It's called The Unbroken Project, and it's all about mental health awareness. So this first one is very joyful. You'll hear it. You'll hear hints of a familiar theme about joy throughout. We're also taking it to Worlds of Fun this Saturday, our competition. So here's our first tune, Choose Joy. before we play our next tune, I just wanted to acknowledge some students. I may have done this at a past concert, I can't remember, but I feel like I'd rather acknowledge them twice than not at all. So we had a few students audition back in October for the John Philip Sousa Honor Band. It's the best middle school state band in the state of Kansas, and we had a number of students make it. If you were selected, including Zarian and Dylan, will you stand, please, if you were in the John Philip Sousa Honor Band this year in January? Give them a round of applause. That's a really good audition. Was very hard, or was well deserved? Our next piece is a band classic. There's a famous tune called Irish Tune from Country Dairy, and it is for an advanced wind band. And a composer named James Barnes at KU wanted to write a version that would suit a middle school band. Bands back in this time period, the 70s and 80s, were quite good, maybe the middle school bands. So while this is for a middle school band from back then, it is a challenging piece, but it's one of my all-time favorites. It's beautiful. It is entitled Yorkshire Ballad. I hope you enjoy. next up on our acknowledgements tonight, I'd like to acknowledge any students that took a solo. Here, I'll wait a second. Let me get moved. While we're waiting for them to get moved, I'll talk about our next piece. Our next piece is called A Tropa Belladonna. It is by Grace Bauer Dunlap, a composer that I went to school with at Kansas State University. She's becoming quite the big deal across the country, which is really cool that I have that connection, and a number of our K-State directors do here. A Tropa Belladonna is a scientific name for a flower. It's called the deadly nightshade, and it's really beautiful looking. If you consume it, you will be poisoned. So this piece kind of captures the dichotomy of beauty with danger. And so you'll hear that throughout. We had Grace Bauer Dunlap come work with us a few weeks ago, and gave us a ton of insight into the piece, which is really cool, and to hear it from the composer's mouth, which was a super nice experience. If you performed a solo or small ensemble at Wichita Suburban League, will you stand, please? These students went above and beyond and performed for a judge at the end of February. Give them a round of applause. It takes a lot of extra work to work up a solo, and it takes a lot to put yourself out there like that, especially in front of a judge, so I'm very proud of those students. Here's our next tune, A Tropa Belladonna. last song is an arrangement of a piece by Percy Grainger, who's a famous band composer. One of the great band works out there is called Lincolnshire Hosey. It's 6 collections of British folk tunes turned into band arrangements. This is the final one of that collection. It's about a woman who was kidnapped by pirates and then saved in the end. So, the lost lady found. This is a great arrangement of that, taking really close to the original and making it something more accessible for students like us and groups like us. Huge thank you to a few people before I give out our final awards. Mr. Shipley and our administration, super supportive, great band program here in Derby, and it's because of people like them. Mr. Duvall, wherever he's at, he helps me teach every single day. We couldn't do this without him, so give him a round of applause, please. Thank you to you parents, thank you to you students. I really enjoy making music, I always have. I'm trying to be more intentional and in the moment with as many things as I can have that. And conducting and making music with these students is a real fun experience, so hopefully you're having the same. I have 2 awards I want to give out, and it's getting really hard to give these awards out because there's so many students I think that could fit the bill for these. Our first one is the Leadership Award for the Advanced Band. This student has definitely stepped into a leadership role among students in this group, but also with some younger students in a beginning percussion class. He was not a percussionist, but now has learned, in addition to saxophone, how to play the percussion, which is really cool, and the kids adore him, and he's also a fantastic leader. So, the Leadership Award goes to Xander Bouchard. As stated before, we have a ton of students that go above and beyond in this group. Really blessed to have that here, and these kids really buy into getting great at their instruments, so this one was particularly hard. This student took a solo to competition, was in the Sousa Honor Band, and also went and pursued another competition outside of the Derby bands and won the middle school division of the TAC flute competition this year as well. So it was really difficult, but this student, I think, really deserves it. Our musicianship award goes to Marshall Roberts. Here's our final tune. Thank you. Oh, there you go. Thank you so much for a great year. I hope you enjoy. Have a wonderful evening. And here's The Lost Lady Found. Thank you very much.